And he scores! Tag. Wait, is that the Adon? I think so, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Gotta pray.
Yeah, we do gotta pray. We gotta pray. Let's get that in.
Yes, sir.
ASAP.
Ha ha!
I don't know what it is, but what? You know, I've been listening to this program, Sunnahfollowers, and I've been learning a lot, Aki. Man, a lot.
Yeah, like what? What you been learning about?
Man, I've been learning about a lot. Salah, you know, hadith, the life of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Man.
Wow, for real though.
And you know another thing? The shows just keep coming on back to back. Alhamdulillah.
I just gotta check them out.
For real though.
Yo.
Wow. My guy, if you have any questions, check this out. Every Friday, you can call in Sister Laila live. Call her with any one of your questions in regards to this deen, and man, she will answer them. She will get you right. Anyway, inshallah, I'm about to tune into that. But you know something else? You know, if this is going to be a benefit to me, I got to get with that Sadaqah Jariyah. All right. Donate to Sunnahfollowers.net. We're here for you. Sadaqah Jariyah. Assalamu alaikum.
The human brain is a marvel of creation, intricately designed to seek meaning and connection. During Ramadan, this quest for spiritual fulfillment is heightened. Fasting activates areas of the brain that are associated with empathy, self-control, and reflection. Join us this Thursday at 6:15 p.m. for an enlightening lecture by Dr. Daniel Abdurrahman McBride on the fascinating connection between the brain, religion, and Ramadan.
Woke. There are so many things going on around, you must take heed. It's been written and prophesied about, so you must believe. Not everything that glitters is gold. Pay attention as it's been told.
Join us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, with Brother Yusuf as he tackles and breaks down current events, current news, and politics, and the Islamic Ummah. Please join us, streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for forgiveness.
Need inspiration? Need to brush up on the do's and don'ts during this blessed month? Join us for Sunnahfollowers Ramadan prep and allow Ustada Laila Nasheeba to walk you through day by day through this blessed month of Ramadan. This will keep your iman tight, your ibadah right, and keep you pushing in the light. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I'd like to welcome everybody to day 5. Alhamdulillah, this is day 5. I repeat, this is day 5 of Ramadan 2025. And subhanAllah, you know, we're almost coming to an end of this first week. Everyone here should feel acclimated. Everyone here, your body should be adjusting to fasting. I have a couple of comments for my ransom seekers. For those of you who are listening who are part of my WhatsApp group, the Sunnahfollowers WhatsApp group. What I did was this, because many of my students are elderly women who are unable to fast due to their sicknesses. And some of them due to the fact that they are elderly, and each day they get closer and closer and closer to death. So even getting up out the bed is a hardship. These are the people that fall in the category of having to pay the ransom. And also, I have some students who are not elderly people, who are not physically sick, but they're young women who suffer with schizophrenia. I have some young women on my website who are both bipolar, some young students who are schizophrenic. These people too fall in the category of having to pay the ransom. And these women who have schizophrenia are single women. They don't have husbands to provide and maintain them. They're young women who have children. And so the ransom is so expensive because the cost of living in America is so high. So for my students, this is not for everybody else. This is for my Sunnah follower people. What I have done, because these are women who are providers and maintainers of themselves. They have no men to take care of them, no men to love them, to protect them. Or they may be married, but they and their husbands are struggling because they have children, so many kids, and the mosque doesn't help people a lot nowadays like they're supposed to. Not all the mosques do. So for them, what we have set up is what we did last year. For those of us here at Sunnah Followers, my Sunnah Follower students, and it includes myself, because I don't have a man to take care of me either, and I'm on a set income too, all right? We are giving our ransom to a village in Tanzania this year. Okay, the ransom is cheaper. Okay, we can afford it. It's easier to pay for the whole month, $150. Whereas if I pay for the whole month here where I live, it's $350. If you live in California, it could be $400. That's a lot of money for women who have no providers, no maintainers, no protectors to come up with. So we will pay the $150. But I'm going to tell you, for the 50th time, people have been blowing my phone up, and I don't like it. If you fall in the category of having to pay for the whole month because you are elderly or because of your sickness, you do not, I repeat, you do not, I repeat, you do not pay the whole ransom today or now. Ramadan just started. What if you die? Because that's why you in the category. Why are you in the category of ransom? Because you could die. What if you die tonight? You're not obligated to pay for the days you weren't living. So for those of you who are definitely paying for the whole month all at one time, you wait. I repeat, you wait. I repeat, you wait till the end. The end. The end of Ramadan. Don't keep texting me, blowing up my phone. So what I did was, in the WhatsApp group, all the people who we put this together for, they're for my female students. The rest of you, your ransom is due to the Muslims in your community. You talk to your masjid about what your ransom is. These are women who have no man, ain't got no money. They get a little pension check, or they get a little welfare check. They're different. So for those of you who are in the Sunnah follower groups, that's you. I put in that group who to Zelle the money to, but none of you should be zelling the whole $150 now. Because if you do, that's it. Your Ramadan's done, basically. And we just begun. Now you can pay day by day. You can do $5 a day. Now, if y'all want to take Zelle, $5 a day to that Zelle phone number, do so. Knock yourself out. If you choose to take the whole $150 and throw it away all at one time, knock yourself out. You ain't getting no reward for the rest of the month. But don't say I didn't tell you, because I don't know what's wrong with you sisters. Y'all crazy? I don't have any all-timers, I don't think. Do I? So y'all beating me up with that. And I'm dealing with fasting and my own personal drama. Y'all driving me into a nervous breakdown. So for those of us who are Sunnah followers, we put this together for, you look at the Sunnah Followers app. Sister AY pinned it at the top. If you want to Zelle $5 a day, do so. If you choose to send a whole $150, that's at your own risk. Realize you ain't getting no more reward. Your Ramadan's done, basically, as far as the blessings. I can't make it no simpler than that. Is that understood? Did I break it down in the Zoom room to you old ladies? Hello?
I'm not an old lady, but yes, you did.
Yes, I was just about to pop in. I'm not an old lady, but I think you did great.
Anissa? Is Anissa present?
Yes, got
it. Is that clear, Anissa? Did I make it clear for them?
Definitely clear.
Did y'all see it on the app? You do see it pinned up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you already know what to do. And I did put the amount for you, because you wanted to sisters that's the whole month. Yours will be $150, but you already know that you don't pay it until the end. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Laila, is there a way that we can that a person can pay via Cash App, maybe?
She got Cash App and Zelle on there. Yes. Okay, cool. Y'all got to read that card. Or if you want to wire it, all that information is there. Okay? But I'm repeating again. You can pay the $5 per day, but don't take the whole $150 and pay it now, because that is due at the end of the month. If you're gonna pay for the whole month, do it at one time. Do it at the end. So your fast is purified and accepted. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Any mistakes you make in your fasting and stuff. Yeah. But for the rest of you, the brother said, what about us? For the rest of y'all, contact your local masjid. You a main. You got a J-O-B, Brother Edward. Brother Edward, you a main. What are you, an engineer? You making money, dude. You better call your local mosque and ask how much your the ransom is for your sick grandmother if you got one. But you don't fall in the category anyway, right? Yeah, you young. Okay. But for the rest of y'all, that we put that together just for my Sunnah followers, because most of the women here, I keep telling y'all, this website is ran by women. We're a bunch of old women who are unmarried and unprotected. So we got to find something easy for us. All right? For the rest of y'all, contact your local masjid. Because the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the people who is most deserving of your charity are the Muslims in your community. But for these women, we are single women who are on a fixed income, many of them welfare checks. Okay, they can't afford to pay the ransom of $350 or $400 for the whole month. Okay, yeah, it's different costs based on the cost of living where you live at. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's yours? Yours is 700. Yeah, it's depending on where you live. That's a lot of money. Even I can't pay no $700 ransom. Yeah, so these are for these sisters here who are single. Right. Yes, call your mosque, brother Bilal. It's probably $12 a day for you. And see, $5 a day is cheaper than $12. Yes, the brother here said here where he is $12. So if you live in his where he lives at in his state, if you in the same state that he's in, it's $12 a day. So contact your mosque. Yeah. All right. Any questions about that ransom? Are we clear? Everybody's clear. The pregnant sisters, if you have to break your fast, pay your ransom for it. My Sunnah follower women. My Sunnah follower women who are pregnant, $5 for y'all. If y'all want to pay for each day, you can hit that Cash App or Zelle that's on the app. Or do like Sister Atika. Sister Atika is physically feeding a person. Yeah, she's making sure that when she cooks dinner for her family, she cooks up, sends a plate to the needy.
Laila, a quick question.
Yeah.
So I missed only one.
Yes, she got me on TV. Okay, what happened now? Go ahead, Atika. She'll probably answer her question.
No, she left. I think she has a problem with her mic.
Okay, wait till she come back.
My question is, so I missed only fasting one day.
Yeah.
Can I still pay? It's still.
Yeah, turn your TV down. She watching me on TV. Turn TV down.
Okay.
I hear the baby.
Sorry, Sister Laila, you're on the big TV.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I hear the baby
so
too.
I only missed the one day, and I did pay the neighbor. Would that still count for me, but I'm still continuing my fast?
Yes, you're doing fine. That's what I was talking about, right? You heard me on the TV. You just lagging. Yes. Okay. I was gonna say, you pregnant women can do like Sister Atika. Atika is pregnant and she's fasting. But she had to break her fast for one day because she couldn't do it. So she fell and she's pregnant. That's ransom. So what she did was she cooked a big meal and she sent a plate of that meal, that 4-course meal, and fed the needy woman who lives next door to her. You guys can do that too. That's a good way. That's a good way of paying the ransom where you ain't got to pay no extra money. You just, whatever you're cooking, like she's doing, she's got the kids, she got her autistic son, and she's cooking dinner, and she's making sure that if she has to break her fast because she's pregnant, because it gets hard, she can just send a nice plate of food, a 4-course meal, to the lady that's needy, another lady that's by herself, no husband, in need of help, that's next door. And she's Muslim. Exactly. And that's a good question, Sister Michelle. It should be a Muslim. You should try to feed a needy Muslim. Yes, a Muslim. That's why I was telling you, the people most deserving of our charity are the Muslims in our community. Yes. Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? Yeah, so you pregnant, that's all you have to do. Sister Amira, that's all you have to do. You're pregnant, you know, you're trying to fast. If you got to break your fast because it's just too much, it could just be a rough day for you. I mean, if it's just too much, you just can't do it. So just break your fast, and then you can cook a dinner and feed a Muslim who's needy, a needy one. Yes. There's a lot of needy Muslims, guys. There's a lot of needy Muslims. Don't be fooled by these crazy people who don't know nothing. A lot of these people that live overseas, they think that America is paved out of gold and silver. They don't understand that there's needy Muslims in every community. Those single women in your community who don't have husbands, they're needy women. Those women in your community who don't have husbands and they have children and they got to work every day, that's needy. Even a person like me, and I don't want nobody sending me no food because I got some food in my house, but I'm needy too. Do y'all know that the rent in America is $2,000? That's the minimum rent. If you've got that's a 2-bedroom apartment. To have a 2-bedroom apartment in a decent area that's crime free, you're going to pay at least, the minimum is $2,000. That's expensive. So those single women in your community who have no husbands, but they have to work to provide and maintain themselves, and they got children too, those are needy people. So don't listen to these brothers on YouTube telling y'all send your money to Gaza. Ain't no poor people in America. That's garbage. First of all, your money ain't going to Gaza. Okay. And there's a lot of poor, needy people in America in every mosque. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So you can do that, Sister Amira. Yes, exactly. Just, you know, if you break your fast, if you're having a hard day with your pregnancy, and just feed one of them single sisters that's got children, and she got to work like a dog to take care of them kids. Or she a woman like me paying $2,000 a month rent, living off a pension. Oh yeah, living off a retirement check. It's hard to live off a retirement check when your rent is half your check. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that ain't counting the phone, the lights, the gas, the water, the cable. That ain't counting all that stuff. Then you got to buy food and eat soup for dinner. Yeah, that's right. How many of you sisters doing like Layla? You got to make a big pot of soup to make it stretch through the week because food done went up too. Oh yeah, that's another topic. It's expensive in America, man. Food is ridiculous. Rent is ridiculous. And when you ain't working, you got a pension. It's hard, man. Ain't got no main to send you no money every month. It's hard. That's right. Yeah. I wish y'all could see what these sisters type. And they like, yeah, tell it, Sister Layla. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that's why I put that together for my women and Sunnahfollowers. The Sunnahfollowers sisters, if y'all fall in that category, hit me up. I'll put you in our group chat, in our Sunnahfollowers group, and y'all can pay the ransom that we're paying to Tanzania. It's cheaper for us. Plus, you got to pay taxes. Oh, yeah. We ain't even talk about that. We got to have Brother Yusef talk about that. Girl, I owe the state $800 in taxes. How the heck I gotta pay the state $800 in taxes and the federal government $300? I ain't got no money. Exactly. America is crazy. And they think that we rich over here. You hear these brothers giving lectures talking about ain't no poor people in America, send it overseas. Are you crazy? I want to see you pay $800 state taxes when your rent and $300 federal taxes, when you got $2,000 and something rent you paying, and your other living expenses total $1,000. That's $3,000 a month right there. Plus $4,000 in other taxes. Please, people crazy. So don't listen to those brothers. Yeah, you can join our WhatsApp group. I'll send you the information, Sister Amira. Yeah, you can pay your ransom with us, inshallah. All right, okay, so let's get started on the topic for today. I'm glad we brought it up. Yeah, we're going to have Brother Youssef talk about that when he hits that political scene this week. Inshallah. Okay, tonight what I want to do, since this is the 5th day of fasting, and we're getting ready to go into the 2nd week, I want us to speak in detail about how we should spend our time. Because one of the sisters texted me telling me how she's trying to convince her son to not spend his time sleeping. And this is normal. A lot of us think we can sleep the day away. A lot of the kids will try to stay up all night long and then sleep and wake up only at 5 o'clock when it's all hour before breaking fast. You don't want to do that. A lot of the adults are doing that. A lot of the adults will stay up all night eating and stuff and then sleep all day, thinking it's making your fast easier. It may make your fast easier, but it's going to cause you to lose out on the whole purpose of us doing this sacrifice. Remember, why is it that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah says, this is a hadith qudsi, that of all the deeds we do, fasting is solely for him. Why is it solely for Allah? Because we're sacrificing. It entails sacrificing your food, your drink, your hobbies, making yourself uncomfortable for the sake of Allah. You're giving up the comforts that you're used to for the sake of Allah. So you want to spend that time wisely. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen so we can talk about it. Yeah. Can y'all see that? Yeah, I'm going to take this out the way too. I'll put that out the way. So this is the 5th day, how to make the most of your fasting time. Let's take a look at this. And I'm using more than one computer, so let me not. So listen to what our way of life. Remember, Islam is not just a religion. It's also a beautiful way of life. Our way of life teaches us to take care of our time, to don't squander the time. And we also are not supposed to waste our time, nor should we ever curse time, because time comes from Allah. He's the one. Not only does he control the hearts of man, but he controls the hands of time. Y'all understand that? That's why man cannot time travel. Ever since the beginning of the creation, man has attempted to change the time, to try to travel through time. It's impossible because Allah controls the hands of time. So Allah tells us don't curse it. Instead, make the best of it. Don't waste it. And when you're sleeping all day, you're wasting time. And also, Allah tells us that we're going to be held accountable as to how we spend our time. Allah is going to ask you, why did you sleep most of the day instead of praying, instead of remembering him, instead of doing good deeds? He's going to ask you, why did you waste your time playing Xbox, when that was time that you could have spent helping your mother clean the house, helping your sister with her homework. That was time that you could have spent feeding the cats that you have, changing the litter box of the cat. So, Allah is going to ask us how we spent our time. Allah is going to say, I allowed you to live for 40 years. You lived for 40 years and you still didn't understand what La ilaha illallah means. Allah is going to ask us in that grave, I allowed you to live for 40 years. You were a Muslim for 40 years and you didn't know the pillars of fasting, but you knew how to sing Mariah Carey. You learned psychology, but you didn't take the time to learn what are the pillars of fasting. You did not know that intentions is a pillar of fasting, that without your intention, your fast is not accepted. Allah is not going to accept those type of excuses. And that's also, guys, why the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in another authentic hadith, this is the meaning of it. The Prophet said, any man who Allah allows to live to see the age of 40 and he died upon sins, there's no excuse for him. And in another hadith, the Prophet said, anyone who Allah allows to live the age of 30 and he's still doing the same sins, there's no excuse. Because in those 30 years, those 40 years, those 50, 60 years of life, you should have known better. You're still smoking cigarettes and you 50 years old? You should have known better that it's haram. For you women out there who are not wearing hijab, when you die, the angels are going to say to you, Allah allowed you to live on the earth for 40 years and you still did not wear hijab? There's no excuse. How many of us say as teenagers, oh, I'm young. I believe in Allah, but I want to go have my fun. I'm going to go out in the streets and, party. When I get older, I'll start practicing. You say that when you're 20. Then 30 comes, you still ain't practicing your deen. You still got boyfriends. You still looking like a hoochie coochie girl, okay? You still ain't praying. Then you live to be 50, then you die. You kept putting off changing the condition of yourself. That's what that hadith means when the Prophet said, anyone who lives to see the age of 30, and in another hadith, who lives to see the age of 40, and another hadith, who lives to see the age of 60, Allah will not accept no excuses from them. That's what that means, because you had the time. Allah gave you enough time on this earth to know better. So now let's look at how the companions, and remember, as I told you guys yesterday, who are our heroes? It's not these dour brothers y'all see on the internet. It's not these celebrity idiots who's praying in Times Square. Y'all already know that's a sin. The Tartar Weed prayer is supposed to be at the mosque behind Imam. The Prophet Muhammad was clear. He said your prayer at the mosque, your prayer in the marketplace, your prayer in the street is nothing like your prayer in the mosque. Okay? So these brothers are committing some sins and they praying around filthy people. They praying in the gutters. The filthiest place in America is Times Square. They're going to be held accountable to Allah for that. That's a waste of time. Okay? Well, listen to how the companions spent their time. Al-Hasan al-Basri, he was one of the third generation of Muslims. He said, I saw the companions and how they were so careful of how they spent their time. They were more careful of how they spent their time than they were about their money. All we care about today is money. The companions weren't into that. The companions were more concerned with, let me see how much remembrance of Allah can I put into the day? What else can I do to show my gratitude to Allah? What can I do to earn Allah's love? What good deeds can I do? They were more concerned with that than making money. But like we talked about yesterday, each generation of Muslims become further and further and further away from the true Islam. And we are the present generation. So we are the worst of all. But we're taking men from amongst us as our heroes and role models, when these are the worst men created. Okay? So the true believer is careful of his time, just like the companions were. And the true believers, they invest and benefit from the amount of time that Allah gives them here on earth. Listen to what Ibn al-Qayyim, who was one of the early scholars, and again, he was better than these men today too. Each generation becomes further and further away, worse and worse. Listen to what Ibn al-Qayyim, he was also a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. He said the highest, most worthy, and most useful of reflection is what is intended for Allah in the hereafter. He said there are various forms of reflection that are intended for Allah. One of them is to reflect on how you spend your time. Because the knowledgeable person is an example of how he spent his time. If he wasted, then all his interests are wasted. For all interest comes from time. And if he wastes his time, he can never regain it. We can never change the hands of time and make them go backwards. That's why the Prophet Muhammad said, there's no excuse for missing a prayer except sleep or forgetfulness. That's why you cannot go back and say, I'm going to make up all the prayers I missed when I was a kid. You can't make those prayers up because that time is gone. That's why you cannot say, I'm going to make up for all the fast I missed. You only have until the beginning of the next Ramadan. I repeat, you only have till the beginning of the next Ramadan. I repeat again, you only have until the beginning of the next Ramadan to make up your fast from this year, because you can't make the year go backwards. I know we got other people who say you can, but that's incorrect. You cannot change time. Allah says in the Quran about the prayers, every prayer has its fixed time. Ramadan comes every year at its fixed time. You cannot change the hands of time and go backwards. That's why if you don't make up your fast before the next Ramadan, you've blown it. You are a sinner. You committed a sin. You have to repent. You can't fast to make them days up after a year. You repent. Ask Allah to forgive you and don't do it again. If you didn't make your prayers yesterday, you can't say I'm going to make them today unless you were asleep or unless you forgot. Because you can't make the prayer go back to the fixed time it was yesterday. So the believer is careful of time. He makes sure that he performs his prayers within the time frame Allah has given us. He makes sure he performs all his obligations within the time frames that Allah has given us. Time is a mercy from Allah. Listen to what Imam Ash-Shafi said. He said, out of my company with the Sufis. He said there are only two things. There's only two things good that I can say about the Sufis. He said one is their saying of, like a sword, time will cut you if you don't cut it. In other words, if you do not spend time doing something useful, you are a loser. He said this is one of the only things good that he found about the Sufis. The Sufis believe in making the most of their time and not wasting it. But they overdo it. How do the Sufis overdo it? They don't understand that there's a time for this and a time for that. The Sufis, they spend all night praying and they neglect their sleep. They neglect their wives. They neglect their bodies. Okay? Or they'll spend all day praying and they neglect their families. They neglect their bodies. They overdo it. They think that time is so important that I'm going to spend every second of it remembering Allah. We can't do that. As the Prophet Muhammad said, when Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, approached him with another companion, and they said, "O Prophet of Allah, we feel that we're damned. When you're here amongst us, you tell us about Allah, you tell us about Islam, and we think about Allah. But then when you leave, we go home and we get involved with our children and our wives. We're doomed." And that's when the Prophet said, "Don't you know, Abu Bakr, if you were to spend every second of the time remembering Allah, then the angels would shake your hands." In other words, you be an angel. The angels were created to remember Allah. The angels were created to do whatever Allah commands them. You're a human. He says, since we're humans, there's a time for this, a time for that, a time to pray, a time to fast, a time to laugh, a time to cry. So it's impossible for any of us as human beings to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, remembering Allah. The angels do that, not us. That's the meaning of that hadith. And what's the source of that hadith? Sahih Bukhari. And that's the mistake that the Sufis make. Okay, they got it right when they said take advantage of your time and don't waste it. But they go to the extremes and praying, doing nothing but praying, doing nothing but reading the Quran, doing nothing but Allah, and they neglect their other obligations. They make the religion hard on themselves. They make the religion difficult, and they apostate, many of them. Listen to what Hassan al-Banna said. Imam al-Hassan al-Banna said. He said, time is life itself. And this statement of his reflects upon Ibn Qayyim when he said, one's time is in fact your age. Time is the material of your eternal life. Either it's spent in everlasting joy or everlasting torture. Time passes more quickly than the clouds do. It is only the time that you dedicate to Allah that constitutes or determines your real life and your real age. The other time doesn't count. The life you lead in that type of time is only the type of life that an animal has. What's that? Eating, sleeping, reproducing. That's what the animals do. The animals eat, they sleep, they reproduce. So this statement of Ibn Qayyim is something that we need to ponder today. A lot of us, we spend our fasting time sleeping. When you break your fast, you spend it eating and reproducing. That's what the animals do. That's what dogs do. That's what cats do. They get up, they go out and hunt, eat, come back, sleep, make more babies, and keep it moving. That's an animal. We're of a higher status than them. Yes, there's a time to eat. Yes, there's a time to sleep. Yes, there's a time to reproduce, but we have to seek knowledge too. Knowledge of what our purpose is. As I talked about yesterday, the prophet said, live in this world. Be in this world as if you were a stranger or a traveler. A stranger doesn't get too close to anything. Yes, the stranger eats. Yes, the stranger drinks. Yes, the stranger marries and have kids. Yes, the stranger works, but he doesn't become too attached to those things that he has to do. Or be like the traveler. The traveler just takes what he needs. Takes what he needs from this world, and he goes from one point of life to another point of life. I was a child. When I was a child, I learned the hadiths. I memorized all the hadiths by heart. That's one point in life. Then when I was a teenager, I learned the meaning of those hadiths in the proper meaning of them in English as a teenager. And then as an adult, I created a website and took all that knowledge of the hadiths, all that understanding of the true meaning in English, and I conveyed it to other English-speaking people in their language so they can understand. And now in the middle years, the last years of my life, after retiring, now I'm going to spend more time reaping the blessings of all of that. That's the traveler. That's the traveler. That's the traveler. He goes from one point to the next, taking only what he needs, not getting too comfortable, not getting too set in one way. Time, guys. How many of us take advantage of time? How many of us squander it? So time is also a vehicle for work. And as Muslims, we have to keep in mind what I talked about yesterday. Our goal, like my stepfather told me, your goal, Layla, your goal should always be on paradise, the hereafter. No matter how old you get, no matter what you experience in life, keep your eye on the hereafter and work towards it. As the clock ticks, our lives pass us by. I'm not that 10-year-old girl that was able to quote them hadiths to Mukhtar's father. I'm not that 10-year-old girl that could sit with Mukhtar's mother and memorize the meaning of those hadiths no more. Okay? I'm not that 20-year-old girl that sat with Sheikh Yusuf Qaradari with a translator trying to learn the meaning of those hadiths. I'm not that 30-year-old woman who was sitting with Sheikh Morsi understanding the meaning even more. And I'm not that 40-year-old woman that was sitting with Sheikh Atli and Dr. Asim learning the Fusha and learning the tajweed of that stuff. Okay, as the clock ticks, our life passes us by. Did you spend the hours of the day doing what will benefit you in the hereafter or not? That's the question that we all should be asking ourselves every day, especially since this month of Ramadan is here. If Allah were to end your time, if you were to die right now, can you look back and see that the hours that you spent in the day, in the night, will be of benefit to you or not? The companions did. The companions worked for the hereafter. The companions made sure they spent most of their time remembering Allah and doing good deeds to bring them closer to Him. I tell you guys, I told you guys yesterday, what's one of the things I always hear, which is one of the reasons why I'm single. Why do you teach Why do you spend all that time doing dawah? I don't spend all that time doing dawah. I only do 2 classes a day. I've been teaching 2 classes a day since I was in my 20s. That's not a lot of time to me. That's not a lot of time. I still take care of the rest of my business. I went to college. I got 2 bachelor's degrees. I worked. I just retired. I worked for 36 years and took care of the developmentally disabled. I raised my daughter. I'm there for my grandkids. I travel to the mountains 4 times a year to take a break. I mean, I do exercise. I still do what I need to do. I live a good life. But you telling me to stop, take away my time from Allah? Are you crazy? What will I replace it with? If I were to stop teaching those 2 classes that I've been teaching for years, what are you telling me to replace it with? There's nothing to replace it with except henna parties, gossip, backbiting, television, playing bid whist. Oh, I love bid whist. I can play bid whist all day and night. The companions worked towards the hereafter. They made sure, and we all claim to be people of the Sunnah. We all claim to be like those companions. Why would you ask me a question like that? The companions, Aisha, radiallahu anha, and all the rest of the female companions, they spend most of their time remembering Allah and doing the good deeds to bring them closer to Him. When the Prophet Muhammad died, Aisha, radiallahu anha, after that battle of the camel, she spent the rest of her life teaching Islam. She took in young girls who were orphans, trained them in character and mannerisms. She opened up a school for girls. She taught the girls. And then in the evenings, she would sit there and teach the women and answer any questions they had. I'm not doing anything differently than her. Plus, she spent time with her nieces. Plus, she spent time with her nephews. Plus, she made Hajj. Plus, she made Umrah. Plus, she owned property. Okay? Plus, she would give advice to Umar. She would advise her father. You know, I'm no different than those female companions. But you want to tell me that I should stop? I'm giving too much dawah? I ain't giving enough. There's never enough. Subhanallah. We have to get back to being like these companions, guys, instead of being like these kafirs. The companions never put the life of this world over the hereafter. They didn't put their mother, they didn't put their father, their children, their money. They didn't put nothing over Allah. But you're going to tell me I need to stop teaching my little 2 classes and do what? Go out and do the henna party? Just hang out in the streets? I ain't got no man. If I had a husband here, it's different. I can find something to do with a husband. But I'm a single woman. What am I supposed to do? Go out in the street and just, hey, Nikki. Hey, Beyonce. Come on, people. We have to get it together, Muslims. As Muslims, we have to understand that Allah demands that we benefit from time. As Muslims, Allah demands that we utilize our free time. There's a time for this. There's a time for that. Before I sit here to teach these classes, what am I doing? My Zoom people know I'm on the phone with my grandkids, making sure that they understand what's expected of them from Ramadan. I'm on the phone with my mother, seeing if she needed me to come over there. I'm also making appointments to get my hair done. I'm also washing clothes, cooking, Instacarting, cleaning my house, dealing with my cats, trimming them. Okay? But at 6:30, it's time for Allah. 9:30, it's time for Allah. How is that too much? How is that too much? Y'all tell me. We are supposed to benefit from time, utilize it properly, and race to do good deeds. And learn from the passage of time. Learn how those female companions spent their time. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was alive, like Aisha radiallahu anha said, we spent our time helping him. His wives spent their time helping him in his dawah, helping him. Okay? Learn from the passage of time. Learn that if you got a man, you're supposed to be with him, helping him. And when your man is gone, when he's dead, or when he's somewhere else, utilize your time like Aisha did, remembering Allah. That's what I do. Okay? And also we should plan and organize our time. Fulfill all commitments of time and not waste it. I ain't no squanderer. I don't have time for that female drama. You will never see me going to no dinner parties and henna parties and these women getting together, taking off their hijab. I don't do that garbage. Aisha didn't take off her hijab and sit around with women dancing and hula hooping. I don't do that. Okay? Remember, guys, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take advantage of 5 things before 5 other things happen to you. Number 1, take advantage of your youth before you become decrepit. That's something that my stepfather used to tell me about time. When I was young, oh yeah, my stepfather, Mukhtar's father, Mukhtar's mother, my godmother, they made me get in those books. Not just the school books, but those hadith books, those aqidah books to learn my deen. Because like my mother said, your mind is like a sponge when you're young. I had a photographic memory. We're going to soak her up. When they diagnosed me as a genius with a photographic memory, my mother said she's going to learn all these hadiths by heart in Bukhari and all these hadiths by heart in Muslim. Okay? Soak it up. Take advantage of your youth before you become too old to remember. And I'm glad my mother did that. I'm glad my stepfather did that. May Allah bless Mukhtar's father. May Allah bless Mukhtar's mother, because all that programmed hadith is in my brain still. Now that I'm 63, there's no way I could have memorized the entire collection of Bukhari, Muslim, Mishkat, Muwatta, and all the Sitta, Dawood. I could never have done that at the age I am now. But my parents made me take advantage of my youth before decrepitude. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take advantage of your health before you become sick with an illness. How many Muslims you hear put off making Hajj? You got the money. You got the mahram. But you don't want to make Hajj because I'm too young. I'm going to wait till I get older so I can make up for all my sins. How do you know that you're going to live to get old? How do you know that you're going to even have a husband? Now look how many women put off making Hajj when they were young. And now that they old, they ain't got no husband or they ain't got the money. Take advantage of your health before sickness. Take advantage of your money before poverty. Take advantage of your free time before the day comes that you have to work. Take advantage of your life, the Prophet said, before death comes knocking on that door. This is one of my favorite hadiths. It brings about so much meaning. It points out the importance of time. It points out how we need to invest in it properly, like my parents did me growing up in the 60s. My youth, memorization of hadith and aqidah. My teen years, practicing it. My adult years, understanding the meaning correctly from the Arabic language. And my old years, instilling that knowledge, making sure that knowledge passes on to others. So we have to utilize the power of time, guys, beginning with youth until we get old. That's how you parents should be raising your children. I grew up in the 60s. The 60s was a different era. The people were better then. It was all about la ilaha illallah. People fought and died for the true Islam in the 60s. People fought and died to pull the people away from that Elijah Muhammad to the true Sunnah. They were a different breed of men and women. So they invested in their kids like my parents did me. But you Muslims today in 2025, y'all are not investing in your children. You're not teaching the kids this religion. You're not having them learn the hadiths. They learn the Quran, but they don't learn the hadiths. You are neglecting that, the Sunnah. As the Prophet said, you can learn the Quran and memorize it all you want to, but you're not going to understand it until you learn the hadiths. The hadiths have become neglected. Then the hadiths have become forgotten. The hadiths have become abandoned, just like the Prophet said they would. You guys need to utilize the youth of your children. And again, on another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not lose time to do good deeds. Do take advantage of the time before these calamities happen. Number one, a starvation that can impact your thinking ability, or a prosperity that can mislead you, or a sickness that can damage your health, or old age that can harm your thinking abilities, or a sudden death. Take advantage of doing good deeds before any of those things happen. And also the Antichrist, or the day of judgment, which will be the hardest and most bitter for us to endure. If the day of judgment were to come right now, are you guys ready? If that angel of death were to come knocking on your door right now, are you ready to go? Or are you going to fight against it? Are you going to say, let me get another game? Let me get another round of Xbox in? Or are you going to be saying, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to make my prayers. It's too late then. It's too late to make your prayers then. None of us know what tomorrow holds. Sickness can impact us at any moment. Death can come at any moment. Something can happen and you lose your mind. You go into a coma at any moment. So take advantage. Take advantage of time. Take advantage of your health. Also, in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a person becomes worried about something, that's when he'll rush to complete his task. And if he rushes, he will soon reach his destination. What does that mean? If the doctor told you today, Brother Abdul, I got your blood test results back. You have cancer. You only have 2 months to live. I bet you if Allah told us, if a doctor told us that all we had is 2 months to live, oh, we'd bust our behind making our salats. Oh, we'd be trying to do as many good deeds as we can. We'd be praying, fasting, kumbayan, and everything else. You brothers would live in the mosque then. That's what happens when we're afraid. When we're afraid that something bad's going to happen, oh, we do what we're supposed to do then. Why should it be that way? Why should it be when something bad happens that now we decide, okay, now I'm going to take the religion seriously. Now I'm going to make my prayers. Now I'm going to wear hijab. Now I'm going to make the most of my time. That shouldn't be, but that's the case that it is with man. And also, guys, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged us to begin the day early And this is something that I witnessed. Being a person that worked third shift for 36 years, you never get off that shift. The prophet encouraged us to begin the day early. Aisha said that the prophet said, wake up early to earn your living and take care of your business, because this brings about blessings and success. How many of you are sleeping the day away? It's Ramadan. You're fasting. Instead of you getting up, going to the store to buy food for your family, that's blessings. Instead of you getting up, cleaning up the house to bring the angels of mercy in, that's blessings. Instead of you going to the mosque to pray the prayer, that's blessings. You're sleeping, squandering your time, waking up at nighttime. Nothing to do then. So again, guys, we have to make the most of our time. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, made dua. He said, "Oh Allah, bless my nation's early rising." How many of you knew that? The Prophet asked Allah to bless us, those of us who get up early to earn our living. If you get up early and start your day, inshallah, if you're making your prayers every day, you're wearing hijab, you're obeying Allah, you will come home in the evening successful. You'll come home in the evening rewarded. So again, as we continue to come into the ending of the first week of Ramadan, I want you guys to think about how you are spending your time. Don't spend it watching TV. Don't spend it sleeping. Don't spend it Xboxing. Don't spend it that way. Spend it doing things of benefit to you, to get closer to Allah. Don't overdo it. Like I was telling the parents the other day, you got kids who are fasting. The fast gets harder during the last few hours. Let the kids take a break to play Xbox for an hour. But you don't want the kids on the Xbox the whole time they're fasting. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Exactly. And Dr. McBride suggested to everyone that we write a schedule each night. Each night, plan your day out. Plan how you're going to spend the fasting day each night. Write down at 6 o'clock, I'll be getting up to make Fajr. Okay? Then I'll go back to sleep and I'll sleep until 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., I'm going to wake up and go grocery shopping. And then I should be home by 11 a.m. 11 a.m., I'm going to clean the house. I should be done by 12. At 12 o'clock, I'm going to go to the kids' school and do whatever I do with them. Then by 1 o'clock, I'm back home. At 1 o'clock, I'll start cooking. 3 o'clock, I pick the kids up. 4 o'clock, I sit down with the kids and do homework with them. And then at 6:30, I log into Sunnahfollowers and listen to Sister Laila. I mean, make a schedule. Everybody should have a daily schedule that you make every night. So that way you're accountable for the time. You can look and see how you're spending your time. All right. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Go ahead. Let me see here. Yes, brother. Yes. No, you don't do that. This brother here just typed that he was told that he should spend Most of the fasting time, reading the Quran and praying. There's a time for this. You don't, that's the thing with the Sufis. They overdo it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, read the Quran as long as your heart is in agreement with it. When your heart starts to disagree with it, you stop reading it. In other words, when you start questioning what you're reading, or doubting what you read, or arguing about what you're reading, or what you're reading is not making sense, put that Quran down. Okay? There's a time for this and a time for that in Islam. Yeah. Exactly. And you never neglect your family. Right. Don't neglect your family, brother. You got to have time for your wife. You got to have time for your kids. Time for the mosque. Exactly. Any questions in Zoom? Please support this dawah effort, guys. This is the month of Ramadan. Look at all the blessings you guys get for supporting us with your donations. We are a nonprofit organization. The best gift that you can give to the Muslims is the gift of the true knowledge and understanding of Islam. So look at all the blessings y'all will be getting for donating to this website. Yes, please donate to support us. And also tonight at 9:30, since I basically finished the series on how to pray, what I'm going to do for the month of Ramadan on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll do a lecture like what I did yesterday. It's called Reminders from the Sunnah. And what I'll do is take different hadiths or advices from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the companions shared with us, and tell you how to implement them in your personal lives. I'll do that on Mondays and Wednesdays for this month. And then we have the Mecca-Siddiq Tafsir class still on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I just tried it yesterday and the people liked it. And so I said, I'll continue. Yeah. Yes, tomorrow is Thursday. We have Dr. McBride. Dr. McBride is going to speak about setting goals. Now, what did he say? What was his topic again, Geechee? I got to do his flyer tonight. What was it again? Anybody remember?
I'm not sure.
It was Ramadan and something. I think it was setting goals. I think he's going to speak about setting goals, which the Ramadan goals, with your right brain, using your right and your left brain to set these goals. Yeah, so he's tomorrow. And then Friday, huh? What? And then Friday, inshallah, we have Brother Youssef. Yeah, he's going to speak about what happened in the world this week. Yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, guys, inshallah, I'll be back at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let me get in here and try to cook something. I'm going to make some soup. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll see you guys back here at 9:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.